a very potent attack. Two of the top 5 goal scorers in the Big Ten in Fisher and Sears. Fisher in particular, as the British expression goes, just can't stop scoring right now. 5 goals in her last 2 matches.
Fisher has been unbelievable. Wears the captain's band for a reason. Off we go in Columbus. The lights are shining. It's a cool but comfortable evening with no precipitation in the forecast and a terrific crowd on hand. A number of students have made their way down from East Lansing. There are lots of Spartan fans here hoping that there will be a celebration at the end of tonight's festivities. Spartans are in green. The Buckeyes are in their home whites. Ohio State comes into the game with a record of 10-2-3 on the season, 5-1-2 in conference play. Their only loss came at number 4 ranked Rutgers, but the Buckeyes have now taken a result in 7 consecutive games in the league, including those draws against Michigan and Nebraska a couple of weeks ago. Let's give you the starting lineups, and since we referenced the Nebraska game, unfortunately, graduate student goalkeeper Kat Robinson injured in that game and unable to play, at least for the time being. So Molly Pritchard, the freshman keeper, is in her steed, and Molly, of course, has split time with Kat throughout the course of the year. She's done a terrific job, but this is certainly the biggest game she's played in her college career. We'll see if she is up for the task as the Buckeyes try to get out on the front foot.
And talking to the coaches last week before the Maryland game, they're very confident in Molly Pritchard's abilities as well as the way she's been able to learn things from Kat Robinson, who obviously has a lot more experience at this level.
Talani Barnett, Sydney Jones, Brooke Otto, and Mirren Gasick, the back line for the Buckeyes. As you look at Lori Walker-Hawk sitting there patiently in the end of the bench, watching her team try to give what she hopes is going to be a terrific effort here tonight. They've had some really fun wins at home of late, including about 2.5 weeks ago when they knocked off number 6 Penn State in a convincing 3-0 victory. Michigan State will have a throw-in on the far side there. More on Jeff Hostler in just a moment. Coach Hostler is sitting. You just can't quite see him there. But we promise he's there. He's sitting
that
through,
post on the bench is kind of blocking the view of him there.
Sitting through the looking glass, if you will. Jeff Hostler is a terrific man, and he is a great coach. He's won several national championships as a head coach at Grand Valley State, leading the Lakers at Division II, including in 2019. Which was the last full soccer season before he took the job in East Lansing. Talked with Jeff earlier today. He said, I haven't really allowed myself to think about what it would truly be like to win a conference championship here. He said everything about this whole experience has been surreal, everything from coaching in the building that my family had season tickets to when I was growing up to living in a house that's a quarter of a mile down the road from where I literally grew up as a kid. This is a dream come true for him to be at Michigan State, and he is I don't know if he would argue that he's ahead of schedule, but I think there are a lot of folks that think the way this program has been turned around so quickly that Michigan State just might be the best feel-good story in all of college soccer right now.
Yeah, he's definitely turned things around in a very short period of time, as you said, ahead of schedule. I'd say they are, again, considering what we talked about before, the fact they were really picked middle of the pack in the coaches' preseason poll. This is definitely, as you said, a pleasant surprise for Sparty.
Here come the Buckeyes. Maybe their first offensive opportunity of the night. We'll give you a chance here now to set up the starting lineups. We told you the defenders for the Buckeyes, Barnett, Jones, Otto, and Gasick. But as Ohio enters the offensive zone, this is the very dangerous Emma Sears. He's looking for some angle. Couldn't win a corner either, and it gets cleared away. Sears, Fisher, and Kaylin Dudukovic. Gosh, that is one really powerful front line of attack. And I think he was somewhat joking, but maybe not. Jeff Hostler told me earlier, if perhaps Emma could run a step or two slower tonight, or if Caitlin could maybe lose the ball like once all game, maybe that would help them. He said, look, tongue-in-cheek, this is, in his opinion, the best offense in the league. But to Michigan State's credit, man, they grind it out. They have an unbelievable defense. They've allowed only 7 goals all season in their 16 games. That's the fewest goals allowed in the Big Ten. It's tied for 5th fewest in the country with 300 teams that play Division I women's soccer. So they have had their identity on the defensive side of the ball for sure, but they've been more than opportunistic on the offensive end.
In this current unbeaten run of 10 in a row, they've only conceded 5 goals in that stretch. Yeah, Sears, Dudukovic, and Fisher have combined for 23 goals this season, and Sears gave the left side of the Maryland defense fits last week with their runs down the right wing.
Knocked away. McNamara, Flotra, and Matty Lowe get the start for the Buckeyes in the midfield. Michigan State should have an interesting shape to them tonight as they try to attack up the left-hand side here. Early opportunity. How are they going to do this? Abby Gardner looking across. I beg your pardon, that was Lauren DeBow in the corner.
Interesting, the two top goal scorers in this match are both wearing the number 2 shirts, Fisher and DeBow.
DeBow has had a really good season. Both Justina and Celia Gaynor starting in the midfield, the sisters for the Spartans. Good defense from Ohio State there in the far corner. That's pretty good work on both sides. Emmy Sargent for Michigan State against Mirren Gasick, and the Buckeyes win the corner kick. Rest of the starters for Michigan State, I mentioned Lauren DeBow and her offensive success. Cameron Evans has also had a really good year. She'll be on the attack. Defensively, Reagan Cox, Ruby Diodati, and Samantha White, who scored her first goal of the year on a, I guess you could call it off of a corner kick. It eventually resulted in a goal off the corner kick last time out against Northwestern, but not necessarily directly off the corner. Either way, it was technically the game winner in Evanston. And then Michigan State's got a whole bunch of young ladies that technically play in the midfield, but their shape feels like it evolves a lot. Courtney Kaler, Abby Gardner, Emmy Sargent, Justina Gaynor, Celia Gaynor, all will play in the midfield.
Yeah, we've seen both Gaynors trying to venture forward quickly, although Samantha White, you just mentioned, having scored that game-winning goal. She needs somebody paired with her on defense with the last name of Green.
See what you did there. This is Abby Gardner on the right-hand side. All right, Keith, let's talk maybe big picture keys to the game here. We're almost 8 full minutes in, but either way, both teams haven't had a really good opportunity yet to try and force one home. Let's start on the Ohio State side since they're the host here. If you're a Buckeye, how do you try to attack this Michigan State team?
Well, there has to be some patience involved. This is a team that's obviously a lot better defensively than Maryland. They're not going to get those kinds of opportunities. Certainly, getting the ball out wide here to Emma Sears would be a big key.
They went direct down the middle there and almost picked out one in the top left-hand corner. Good idea from McNamara, but off target.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't expecting that from Peyton McNamara coming forward from the midfield. Here it is again. She made about a 15-yard run, then had some space for about 25 yards out, decided to have a go, but it didn't trouble Lauren Kozel. But I think getting the ball wide, letting Sears do her running, try to get her isolated one-on-one to create the opportunities in front for both Fisher and Dudukovic.
I would imagine that the Buckeyes are going to try to apply as much pressure as they can on that back line for the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State's done a pretty good job at playing defense when they get pressured throughout the course of the year. Haven't had too many facepalm type goals where you just wonder, gee, how did we let that happen? You give Kozel a lot of credit for that. In addition to being a rangy and lengthy goalkeeper, she's got a veteran presence. She's extremely well organized, communicates with her teammates well. This is DeBow that was trying to cut to the right, but an offside flag goes up.
DeBow had the only goal in last season's match up at East Lansing to win the game 1-0 for the Spartans.
By the way, most teams across the league are playing tonight, but about half the games are 7 p.m. Eastern starts, and the other half are at 8 o'clock. We'll give you updates when we can from Rutgers at Michigan, Minnesota hosting Purdue, and Indiana as the Maryland Terrapins in Bloomington. Northwestern is playing Iowa, Illinois at Wisconsin, and Penn State, Nebraska. Those last 3 are all 8 o'clock kicks. At the start of the day, as the Buckeyes try to organize out of the back here, Michigan State opens the night with 22 points. They're 7-0-1 in conference play. Northwestern 6-1-1 in league play, and that only loss came last time out to the Spartans, so they're at 19. Then you got Rutgers and Ohio State, 5-1-2 at 17 points. And Penn State at 16 points, 5-2-1. Don't lose faith in Wisconsin either. One of the things that's been so fun to watch in this league this year is how the top half of the league has been particularly good. It should make for a really fun Big Ten tournament. Good run there, but goal kick.
And, of course, the semifinals and final of that tournament will be held here in Columbus, just a few miles south of where we are.
Gorgeous, brand new lower.com field. Looking forward to that event for sure. It'll be great if you're a Columbus area native or if you're coming into town for any reason, whether it's for the tournament or otherwise. Certainly encourage you to check out any game you can in the tournament. Should be a fun year.
Not to mention the city itself. I was working with Jaleel Anibaba of the crew last week, and he, like so many other athletes who have come to Columbus, both whether it be the crew or the Blue Jackets, expressed pleasant surprise at what a great place this is here in Central Ohio.
Pritchard,
who hasn't been very busy the last couple of games. Tonight's going to be a different story, I think.
Free kick. Ohio State typically plays pretty well against the Spartans. Here on this field, the Buckeyes are 13-2 all time. But as you mentioned last year, Michigan State knocked off the Scarlet and Gray 1-0 up in East Lansing. Michigan State had lost 5 straight to the Buckeyes prior to that. Sweet move from DeBow. Crosses with the low left foot. The Buckeyes intercept the pass and squash that opportunity. There's a whistle behind the play.
Well done by Brooke Otto, who you talked about earlier, played very solid in the back. All the backline players, very solid players, often overlooked sometimes, especially lately with the scoring, but in the center with Brooke Otto and Talani Barnett. Have done a terrific job in front of Pritchard. Team will tell you it's good when your goalkeeper is bored, and Otto and Barnett do a very good job of keeping things away from Molly Pritchard.
Buckeyes have the only shot of the game so far. It was a good one, not technically on target, although certainly threatening that top left corner. Good play by Michigan State there, negating the little back heel touch. But the Buckeyes shut it down quickly. Job from Otto. Fortunately for Ohio State, Olivia Sensky, done for the year. Graduate student from nearby Powell, Ohio. Transferred to this university from Ohio U down in Athens and had a really, really good season. And unfortunately suffered a season-ending injury. We won't see Olivia Sensky anymore the rest of the year. Meanwhile, a bit of a mistake there. Molly Pritchard, thinking she was clearing it toward the corner, gives the Spartans a goal kick.
Yeah, it looked like the ball bobbled a little on her. That was clearly mishit as she was trying to play back to Barnett once again as she was being pressured.
I'll tell you what, Michigan State suffocated Northwestern with corner kicks early in that game last time out. I'm certain they are hoping to do something similar here. Now, they only finished the game with 5 total, but they had 4 of them very early on. Spartans on their first set piece of the night, right in the middle. Chested down, right-footed shot. It's over the top of the bar. Samantha White nearly struck Molly Pritchard. Ready for it.
She certainly was. She was well positioned right in the center as that ball comes past the 4 players there at the penalty spot. White with a good first touch and a terrific chance right on, but Molly Pritchard, right place, right time, and that's what we talked about before with the training and the advice she's getting from both Gavin McLeod as well as Kat Robinson. She certainly was in the right place, thinking that ball would go over the top of the 4 players attacking from the penalty spot.
Diodati pump faked. Now she'll come through, a second chance. Buckeyes get ahead on it, trying to get it out of the way. Pritchard's a bit out of position. That ball got shot wide to the right. Molly Pritchard aggressive there. And maybe some early butterflies perhaps for the Buckeyes. I'm not saying that it's out of nerves, but certainly a queasy feeling for Ohio State defensively here.
Yeah, not the best defending their all-star when Pritchard couldn't get to that ball as it went over her head. She was trying to punch it away, but when that punch out is missed, that causes all kinds of problems for the fullbacks. Even with the second chance she had, she couldn't collect the ball, but the shot, fortunately for her, went wide of her post.
Weather Channel says it's 50 degrees. There's a little bit of wind. It's blowing right to left the way you watch at home, so it's in Ohio State's face here in this first half.
Not as strong as it was during pregame. It was blowing up to 10 to 15 miles per hour while the sun was still out.
It's definitely died down a bit. Good cross. Nobody on the back end of it, so Sidney Jones cracks it up the park. That one actually did hang in the air a bit. Emma Sears.
Again, Brooke Otto is paying close attention to Lauren DeBow up front, even though, as one of the center backs, even though we've seen DeBow coming down the left side a few times. Looks like Otto has been given the job to watch Michigan State's number 2.
Bad tackle from Keena Flotra. She draws the ire of our head referee, Laura Snyder. Michael Nickerson, Eric Lott, and Courtney Hayworth are the other referees here this evening. Courtney on the sideline. But it's a Michigan State opportunity. This is Samantha White. It got a little too cleanly in there. Michigan State with something brewing. They get a shot off, deflected off to Pritchard. Well, Michigan State struck with Cameron Evans, and all of a sudden maybe the Buckeyes got a bit too reactive there. Sparty nearly scored.
Yeah, I was a little surprised with that free kick. Came in for about 35 yards out. All the Buckeyes were lined up right at the 18 and really didn't challenge anybody as the Spartans came forward and got that pass into the penalty box.
Another look toward Evans. That time Gainer's pass was picked. I haven't seen too much yet of Kayla Fisher. Kayla cuts back, nice little move, but lost it.
Yeah, Sparty have clearly had the better of the possession as well as the better of the time in Ohio State's half of the field. We haven't seen Lauren Kozel here a whole lot so far tonight.
Ohio State's biggest asset in this game, in my opinion, is its speed.
Yes.
They can certainly outrun this Michigan State side, but Michigan State seems to thrive in some chaotic situations, and if they can cause enough confusion in tight windows, they just might score one or two, and the way their defense plays, it could be good enough.
Yeah, that last attack was certainly a good example of the chaos that you talk about. Sidney Jones, who's taking this restart, did a good job to break up that last attack.
Barnett plays it forward. Tap to the right-hand side. Maddie Lowe thought maybe that somebody would get on the end of a run there, but nothing from either Duke or from Sears. Kaylin Dukovic, I think everybody calls her Duke.
Yeah, she tried to work a little 1-2 there in the middle of the field with Peyton McNamara, but as you said, the last pass just didn't come off.
Maybe something building here for the ladies in white. On the left side, Fisher wants to unleash. It got deflected out. Ohio State wins its first corner kick of the night.
And to me, that's a good sign to see Ohio State winning that ball in the middle third of the field and immediately trying to get into attack, trying to use the speed advantage that you talked about just a few moments ago. And I think a good sign from Kayla Fisher, too, being confident that, hey, I'm going to try this from about 20 yards out, even though the defender's right on top of me. Goal scoring is about confidence as much as anything else, and the coaches were talking about how they really think this is a confident team going forward.
Ball played right into the middle. All of a sudden, Fisher finds the ball right at her feet. Couldn't figure out an angle to shoot it.
Yeah, Kayla Dukovic did a good job to nod that ball forward to give Fisher that opportunity.
Lauren DeBow, full head of steam, trying to get by Jones, and Sidney cuts her off. Beautiful effort from Sidney Jones.
Yeah, we'll get another look at that corner kick. You see there the little nod forward. Fisher surrounded by 3 green shirts. Finally looked like Ruby Diodati got the touch to clear it away from the Michigan State goal. It was just Sidney Jones, terrific job to chase down DeBow and win that ball and clear it away.
Really haven't seen too many counters in this game, but that one was certainly notable from Michigan State to go basically And a 90-yard sprint one end to the other.
And you see that a lot on corner kicks. So a team pushes 4 or 5 players up into that box. It leaves you exposed in that middle third of the field.
Michigan State throwing. If you joined us a little bit late, thanks for tuning in. We're almost 20 minutes full into this game. I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Keith Kokinda. Number 6 nationally ranked Michigan State. And number 17 Ohio State on Big Ten Plus. Flag goes up there for offside. Michigan State results in 10 games in a row. The Buckeyes 7 straight. Ohio State outscored its opposition 13-1 last weekend when they blasted Maryland at home and Illinois on the road. Michigan State, though, feeling pretty good about its 2-1 victory at number 5 Northwestern. A lot of momentum coming in from both teams. Michigan State also with wins over Penn State. They beat nationally ranked Colorado. They've got other good wins in the league, but still have a tough schedule here in front of them with Ohio State and Rutgers on the back end of the agenda.
And looking at the schedule, that win against Colorado really, I think, got things going for this Spartans team and really gave them a sense of, yeah, we're definitely a lot better than a lot of people think we are.
Win tonight for Michigan State, and they are Big Ten champions for the first time since 1994. There's a little bit of an asterisk there, though, if you're not a Big Ten historian. From 94 to 97, the Big Ten actually did not officially recognize a regular season champion. They just used the regular season to determine the seeding for the Big Ten tournament and only crowned one champion. But Michigan State was the number 1 seed in that tournament. They had the best record in the league that year, and they do count it as a Big Ten title. I think they should. I have no problem with that. Another good through ball on that free kick. Courtney Kaler plays it back to the right-hand side. She and Abby Gardner have both been good. Cox and Diodati have been safety valves too.
And again, we see Sidney Jones there defensively in that center of the park, getting that ball clear off the restart.
Maybe a mistake here for Ohio State. That's too easy a giveaway. But fortunately for the Buckeyes, a non-threatening shot.
And there's Michigan State sending 2 or 3 players forward. They have Cameron Evans and Lauren DeBow up there pressuring the ball along with Reagan Cox, and they got exactly what they wanted except for the last touch.
Lauren DeBow was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, named on September the 20th. She was also, about a week and a half ago, on the Top Drawer Soccer National Team of the Week. Lauren's had a great year.
Certainly it's clear Sparty trying to get on the front foot here in this opening almost half hour now and trying to put a lot of pressure on Ohio State and get up early. Ohio State defensively has kept things under control for the most part. A couple of loose balls that could have caused them problem, but so far they've been mostly solid. Pritchard has been very good in goal, especially
Here's
taking...
DeBow, and Molly Pritchard makes a half-hearted dive to save it.
A TV save, as it's called in Britain. But again, she made the one big save off the ball from Samantha White from that corner kick. Here's DeBow. Didn't get a whole lot on that one. Pritchard just making sure she covers it up solidly and doesn't try to mess with it too much. I'm not sure Kozel's even gotten any dirt on her gloves yet.
She has not been particularly busy so far. Just had to work around the one Ohio State corner kick. It was a heart-stopping moment, but Michigan State quickly cleared it away. Here's a great cross into the middle. Jones is trying to cut off. Pritchard's out and swallows it up. Great job by Molly Pritchard not to allow a rebound chance.
Yeah, excellent decision-making from Molly Pritchard. Goalkeeper comes off her line, has to come out quickly as Gaynor gets free looking for that ball, but Pritchard right on top of her, didn't give Gaynor any chance at all to get any kind of touch. She just had to reach out for it and hope she got the right touch to put it in. But Pritchard, excellent goalkeeping there in terms of coming off her line quickly as well as making the actual save.
Jones trying to keep her footing. Gets the ball back. Like what they're building here. McNamara to the right side, and unfortunately didn't time that one appropriately out of Maddie Lowe's reach. Both teams still playing with their starting 11, although the Buckeyes are waiting to check on a couple of substitutes. I can see Kitty Jones-Black is standing down there. There's one other Buckeye that's cut off from my vantage point. But at some point, we'll see some changes.
Yeah, but it started well with Sidney Jones from that right back spot, and that's what you like to see your right back do, making some of those runs forward to the halfway line, even beyond, to get an attack going.
Clearly two of the top teams in the league this year. How lucky we are that the schedule shook out where they get to play each other late on the calendar. Ohio State losing just a couple times this season. Lost to BYU, the national runner-up last year. Dropped a game to Rutgers in a great contest. Those are Ohio State's only 2 losses all season. And as we mentioned for Michigan State, they stubbed their toe only once against the Arkansas Razorbacks early on.
It'll be another good one Sunday here as Ohio State closes out the regular season by hosting Northwestern, which will also be here on Big Ten Plus. Great work by Talani Barnett to shepherd that ball out as we get those substitutions you mentioned. Talani Barnett, I think, is an unsung player on this team. She played as a midfielder a lot last year, and I think that is a good thing to have in your back line. Somebody who has a tremendous work rate, and she certainly does, as well as good football intelligence.
Both changes for the Bucks are in the midfield. Flotra and McNamara come off. Kitty Jones-Black, known for her speed. Ella Gianola, who has played a ton of minutes this year as a young freshman and has made several starts, but was basically flip-flopped in the starting lineup because Maddie Lowe has just been such an important presence on the field. Lori Walker-Hawk told me, we just got to have Maddie out there. It's just that simple. It's nothing that Ella did, and we're still going to use her.
Yeah, the two of them played 45 minutes each in the win at Illinois. You're right. Maddie Lowe is definitely someone Ohio State needs out there as much as possible.
Good timing. Good ball played forward from Sidney Jones. She has really solidified that right back spot. Jones is capable of playing in the midfield too. But part of what has helped Ohio State on this run is the fact they feel like they're getting a little bit more back to their quote-unquote normal, where players are playing in positions largely where they are most comfortable playing. On the flip side, knock on wood, if you're a Spartan fan, I certainly don't mean to jinx the gods here. I'm just telling you like it is. They've got 32 players on their roster, and they are all healthy and all available. And Jeff Hostler said, look, we have just been blessed and lucky that all year long, whether it's been an injury or illness, not more than one player at a time has been hurt or sick. And as we come into this final weekend of the season, he said everybody is healthy and training and available. What a blessing, because that is not the case most places around the country.
Yeah, it is very rare for a team to stay that healthy for an entire season. Most coaches are just so used to dealing with injuries and illnesses that crop up, and for Hostler, it can be a problem sometimes, but that's the kind of problem coaches like having.
Flotra with a good ball ahead, and the Buckeyes feel like they're building. Kayla Fisher cuts left. Has an opportunity here, lays it off. Ella Gianola has her shot blocked.
But
good defense again.
But an excellent counterattack, and again, I think a big thing is they went to try, that Flotra tried to find Kayla Fisher early, get her some touches on the ball, get her going forward in the attack. We saw her do that a few times against Maryland. In addition to the one goal she had, she also won 2 penalties in that very similar position, going from outside into diagonally running into the box.
It appears like Ella is playing as a forward and Kayla's regressed a bit more into the midfield. Maddie Lowe with a left foot, low bouncer. Just want to measure Kozel and see if she's paying attention. And not too difficult.
Not much on that shot. Wouldn't trouble Kozel at all there. But, again, I like the idea. Just not quite executed as well as they would like. And I like what Ohio State's doing now here. They're turning the tables, trying to put some pressure on Kozel and the rest of the back line.
Michigan State, whether or not they win the Big Ten championship, they certainly appear bound for the NCAA tournament. The selection show for Division I women's soccer is set for Monday, November 7th in the afternoon. So we won't know for sure, but Michigan State has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2009. They've only won 2 NCAA tournament games all time. Both of them were opening round games. They've never been past the second round of the tournament. But they have a head coach that brings championship pedigree. Pretty cool note on Jeff Hostler's success with the Grand Valley State Lakers. In 7 years, he either won the national championship or lost to the team that eventually won the national championship. He has brought quite a change to East Lansing. In fact, Laurie Walker-Hawk was one of those coaches that went to bat for him when the job was open in East Lansing. These two programs obviously play each other, right, because they're conference opponents, but when Coach Hostler was at Grand Valley, the Buckeyes would scrimmage the Lakers pretty much once a year because of the quality that they had in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, the GLIAC, one of the dominant leagues across Division II. And Coach Hostler has brought that same kind of mentality and a few of the same kinds of players that really helped him win at a high level.
And that's going to be invaluable come tournament time. As you said, Hostler knows what it takes, and he can instill that in his players for a bunch of players who've never been to that kind of level before, haven't been to a tournament, to be able to say, okay, here's what's going to happen, here's how things are going to play out, here's what could go wrong, here's how you react to that sort of thing. And that's going to be his coaching, I think, is going to make a big difference in terms of Michigan State and how they progress in the NCAA tournament.
Maybe a chance here for the Buckeyes. Another one stuffed near the top of the box, but Gianola still keeps it alive. Ella looking for some help. Here Gasick plays it into the middle. Back to goal for Emma Sears. Referee swallows the whistle. Michigan State takes a big, deep breath.
Well, Emma Sears, not a great first touch, but Justina Gaynor, the younger of the Gaynor sisters, did a good job putting her off there.
I know I mentioned it at least in part earlier. I mean, this Michigan State team is so different than it was even a year ago when they started to experience a good bit of that success. They brought 6 transfers in January, 1 in the summertime, and then added 10 additional freshmen. This one's played across. Pritchard spills it away. Defensive save. A third chance. No! Ohio State with an incredible defensive team effort.
And Sydney Jones saves the day once again. Coming in for a right back spot to help out her goalkeeper when Pritchard spilled it, as you said, Brendan. Here it is again, an excellent cross in. Pritchard does what she should do, come out to the 6 and claim that ball, but she couldn't quite bring it down. And there's Jones right there to deny the opportunity for Cameron Evans to finish.
Evans couldn't score either time. DeBow was begging for a chance. It just didn't quite happen. Ohio State.
Well, down in the box like that, when a ball's loose like that, you have to think, I've got to get this on goal with the first touch, because if you don't, there's going to be 3 people crawling all over you. So she did what she should have done, tried to score on the first touch, even though, as you said, DeBow was out here on the left side looking for a pass out to her.
They got a 4-on-3 here. Here they go. This is Sargent.
Numbers pressing ahead.
Trying to outpace.
Sargent up the right side. Gets across into some open space. Shot taken. Pritchard again. Cameron Evans. Or I beg your pardon, that was Celia Gaynor.
Yeah, Gaynor coming from well outside the penalty area, making that run in, and gets there at the shot. But Pritchard, again, positioned well and able to make a relatively easy save.
9 shots for the Spartans here in the first half, 4 on goal. Ohio State 4 shots, just 1 on target. They had 1 other good look that was not technically a shot on goal. 4 shots from Cameron Evans, a couple now from Celia Gaynor. The others have come from 3 separate players. Spartans don't really care. They're just going to fire from wherever they can.
Again, if we saw about 10 minutes or so of Ohio State trying to get forward to create some opportunities for themselves, we see Sparty all of a sudden getting back on the front foot and creating opportunities for themselves.
Ella Gianola working one-on-one. She wins it away from Courtney Kaler for a throw-in.
Gianola is out of Ladera Ranch, California, hometown of Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors, along with his dad, Michael, who also played in the NBA for a long time.
Got an Ohio State corner kick coming.
And this is what Ohio State needs. Get that ball forward. Even winning a corner is a good thing because it gives the players such as Dudukovic and Fisher in front another opportunity, as both Ohio State and Michigan State will substitute here.
Kristen Bombeck on for the Buckeyes, and Michigan State making its first changes of the evening. Jordan Wickus, the sophomore forward, enters, as does Bria Skrotenboer. Bria, a senior from Holland, Michigan, and a transfer from Duke.
Jordan Wickus, like Kayla Fisher, played for Cleveland FC, a native of Brunswick, just south of Cleveland.
Played into the middle, looking for Fisher, and headed away.
Samantha White, the current Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, was there at that short side post watching Fisher.
The Buckeyes trying to get their shape back. Looking for the middle. Dudukovic couldn't quite get her feet on it quickly enough. 36th minute. Ohio State and Michigan State, no score. In the second to last game of the regular season on Big Ten Plus.
There's a nice little turn by Dudukovic there. Unfortunately, the first touch let her down a little bit. It was a little too heavy.
Elsewhere around the conference, Rutgers already with a 2-0 lead over the Michigan State Spartans. No score between Maryland and Indiana there in the 34th minute. As the Buckeyes play through Emma Sears. Good cross right on the money. It got stuffed. Fisher was there, couldn't quite hit it cleanly.
And that's what I want to see more of. Emma Sears making those runs down the wing. We saw that a lot last week against Maryland, getting the ball into Fisher. As you said, Fisher denied defensively there. Looked like it was Ruby Diodati who made the play to put her off.
That's a whistle and probably an easy call. Free kick coming from a really dangerous spot for Michigan State.
Yeah, Sydney Jones committing the foul there. But we'll look at this again, and here's a great chance for Fisher. Mishit a little bit, and it was actually Abby Gardner, the senior from Novi, Michigan, who was there defensively. Really more of a mishit from Fisher, but the right idea. Again, Fisher trying to take that one first time before she got closed down. And now a dangerous restart opportunity for the Spartans.
Michigan State trying to draw first blood on the road. Again, they've only won twice here at Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. They are 2-13 in this building all time. Skrotenboer had it rejected.
Excellent positioning of the wall by goalkeeper Molly Pritchard. I was a little surprised they only had 4 in there. I would have expected 5 from that range, and especially that close to the center of the pitch.
Long shot knocked down.
I know my goalkeeping days would have had 6. But then again, I never played at this level, therefore.
Pretty good recovery there on the defensive side. Well done.
You talked about Ohio State's speed, but right now we've seen most of the time when Ohio State's tried to break out there and quickly, Michigan State's been able to get 4, 5, 6 people back and slow things down. They've really had the better of the possession and more time in the Ohio State half of the field so far. But again, the Buckeyes defense still staying solid, not letting too much get through to Pritchard. And when they have, Pritchard, except for with one exception, has been able to keep the door closed.
Minnesota leads Purdue 2-0 in the other game that's being played at the moment. There are 3 games that won't start until the top of the hour. So Minnesota 2, Purdue 0. Maryland and Indiana are scoreless. Rutgers with a 2-0 lead over Michigan. And they are in the 32nd minute up in Ann Arbor. No score in this game, Ohio State and Michigan State. It's been a good one. Michigan State's taken better chances so far. The flag finally went up in the air. And Ohio State's potential go-ahead goal was negated.
Yeah, it took a couple seconds. You're right, Brendan. Wonderful couple of touches for Emma Sears to come in field and then trying to set up Dudukovic, but she was well offside. Easy decision for the assistant on this near side.
Lauren Kozel. Ohio State relaxing just a touch.
See Kristen Bombeck up there trying to put on some pressure as well. And I want to say I'd like to see it more from Ohio State when Michigan State's in their own end, pressure them and try to force the play more, just as we've seen Michigan State do on a number of occasions down here at the other end.
Round of applause for Kitty Jones-Black, who just played really physically there. Instead, Wickes now, who's had a great sophomore season, more than doubled her output from her freshman campaign. Right-footed touch from Kaler. Jones-Black back forward. Celia Gaynor looking for some help.
Now this is Gianola, and here goes Gianola. She's trying to break free.
Ohio State looking for the boundary, couldn't get there. Gianola ran step for step with Reagan Cox.
Yeah, we saw Gianola do that a few times in the game against Maryland. She came out as a substitute there, too, making the runs down the other side, much as we see Emma Sears here on this right side. I think Ohio State needs to do more of that, get those balls down the wing, even send balls toward the corner flag and let Gianola and Sears run onto balls and try to pressure that back line a little more. We haven't seen much of that.
Sydney Jones, for my money, she's been probably Ohio State's most valuable defender so far. Jones has played really well. Sticks with DeBow there for a moment.
I think that midfield experience helped, especially right here when Jones has a chance to go forward. When you have a defender, usually a right back, that can go forward, it makes so much more of a difference going both directions.
Here's Fisher working the left-hand side. And her cross, unfortunately, couldn't line up perfectly with Sears, who wins it anyways. Emma trying to make something of this, and at the moment it remains just a throw-in.
Samantha White there watching Emma Sears, obviously aware of what Sears can do moving up and down that wing. Sears having a lot more difficult time than she had against Maryland last week when she was able to pretty much run balls down the line and cross them almost at will at times.
Kind of felt like the Buckeyes just broke Maryland's spirit with 3 rather quick goals. And all of a sudden, Maryland just mentally lost their focus. 7-0. Here's a chance for the Buckeyes. Good job by Kozel making herself as big as she could there along the end line. It's a corner kick for Ohio State.
Yeah, Kozel had the advantage of that ball coming from a very tight angle. We'll get another look at it, but she does a good job to come forward as well to cut down the angle on Dudukovic. But it will be a corner for the Buckeyes.
Ohio State looking for a chance. Headed down in front. Kick clear up in the air by Samantha White. Not a flag went up. And a whistle away from where that ball ended.
Ohio State's certainly trying to get some teeth back into this game here in the last few minutes. And Sparty defending well, though. They've, we mentioned, 5 goals allowed in the last 10 games that they've been unbeaten, and 7 overall this season. We see why they're one of the top defensive teams, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country.
DeBow found the space she was looking for. Justina Gaynor runs onto it. Gaynor one-on-one against Mirren Gasick with a great cross. It's just over the top of her teammate right in front. Wickes was hoping, still a chance for the Sparties. Here come the Buckeyes. Look at this. Emma Sears beats White. One big dribble. Sears rips a shot off the bar. Ohio State that close to taking a 1-0 lead. That's the first time all game we've seen a Buckeye counter result in a high-quality shot.
And what a counterattack that was, though. 2 passes out of the back, springing Sears to go in against White 1v1. Unfortunately, the crossbar denied her.
How direct is this game? Molly Pritchard can't get there. Michigan State scores. Ohio State makes a defensive mistake. And the Spartans take a 1-0 lead. Lauren DeBow in the 44th.
We're in a bad time to give up a goal there in the last couple of minutes of the half. Here's DeBow going 1v1, and there's the problem there. The collision between Pritchard and Brooke Otto enables DeBow to run onto that ball and finish from a tight angle.
That's a really tough break for the Buckeyes, who had defended well enough against a relentless Spartans attack.
Clearly a communication issue. Something happened. I obviously can't hear down there. Obviously either Brooke Otto did not hear Pritchard call for the ball, or she didn't call for it, but she was coming off her line. Either way, that collision gave the opportunity to DeBow, and she wasn't going to miss even from a tight angle.
All that work in the first half, and Ohio State unable to keep the clean sheet. Still plenty of game to go. If you're Michigan State, you're really starting to believe you've got a lead on the road. And you know that there's still a good 46 minutes in front of you, but always easier, in my opinion, when you draw first blood on the road.
Especially against this Michigan State team, which has not lost when they've scored first. 10 times they've scored the opening goal, and they've won all 10 of those games.
Talani Barnett from nearly midfield. This ball basically was falling with dead weight.
It's a good idea, though, from Barnett. As I mentioned, good football intelligence coming out of the back, just playing that ball into the box. Look for Dudukovic, hopefully get a lucky bounce or a good first touch. Either way, it's good to see Ohio State right after that goal showing some initiative, especially because we all know in football, a team is really at its most vulnerable point in the 3 to 5 minutes after they've scored. And Ohio State clearly looking to do that with Emma Sears now.
Sweet play by Sears. She sends it toward the middle. What a play on both ends. Fisher with a dynamite header. Kozel with a better save.
Oh, and a little tete-a-tete there between her and Scrotenbohr.
Michigan State can't believe that there was a whistle blown perhaps against them. Waiting to see exactly how this all went. Maybe we'll get another look at it. Kozel made a great save. Fisher speared herself into that ball beautifully to try and equalize the game.
Yeah, everything but the finish. A gorgeous cross from Emma Sears right here, looking for Kayla Fisher, making the run to the 6, puts it on target as she should, but Kozel was right there, and that's what you try to do on a header. Aim for the goal line. That's the best target. And there you see Scrotenbohr and Fisher get together, and Fisher going down.
Okay, now that we've seen a replay, Kayla Fisher tried to win an Oscar there. That's okay. I don't blame her for trying. Scrotenbohr didn't push her, and cooler heads prevail. I know both head coaches want to see their teams play.
They were able to seize the initiative and get balls forward. They were trying to get balls forward to Fisher and Sears, and even to extent we saw Ella Gianola when she came as a substitute making runs down the left wing. They definitely need to show more of that. Unfortunately, they spent a little bit too much time defending from their point of view, a little too much time defending. But the risk you run, when trying to commit some more players forward, is exposure to the counterattack. And we've seen Michigan State do that a couple of times in that first half. So that's something the Buckeyes will have to be careful about. I think it's important to keep things right here at 1-0 for maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes of this second half before looking to go forward. But I think the confidence we saw from Ohio State there right after they conceded that goal was very good. They immediately got back on the front foot, and we saw the great chance late when Emma Sears made the run down the wing and got the cross in for Kayla Fisher's opportunity.
Buckeyes come out with the same back line from near to far side. It's Gasick, Barnett, Otto, and Jones as Talani steps in front of that one. This is Sydney Jones holding it in the corner. Maddie Lowe is out there. Ella Gianola is in the midfield now with chance here for Michigan State upcoming. This is a good-looking shot just over the top of the bar. Lauren DeBow really doesn't need a whole lot of space. She is crafty.
Yeah, she immediately turned, got a good first touch, was able to turn and face up. Here it is going up against Talani Barnett. It was able to get just a little bit of opening there past Barnett and get that shot on target. We've seen her make that move a few times in the first half, coming in from the left side, coming in field to look for those opportunities. And she got the one shot on goal early that was easily saved by Pritchard, but then she got the benefit of that collision between Pritchard and Otto to score the only goal of the match.
Minnesota leads Purdue 2-0. They are just starting the second half up in Minnesota. Corzo clears this away. Maryland and Indiana, they are scoreless. And Rutgers continues to hold a 2-0 advantage over the Michigan Wolverines. There are 3 other games that are just underway. Iowa at Northwestern. Illinois is up in Madison to play the Badgers. And Nebraska is hosting Penn State tonight. Those games, again, just getting started, so we'll give you some score updates as this one progresses. But in the meantime, 1-0 here.
And this is good from Ohio State when they won that ball right near the halfway line. Try to make some quick passes back, switch the flow of play to the other side, and try to catch Michigan State a little bit short in the middle part of the field. Ohio State really needs to do more of that to take advantage of the speed advantage that you mentioned in the first half.
Neither team has worked particularly deep into their bench at the moment. A lot of minutes for starters in the first half, and they've all been pretty effective. DeBow is becoming a must-watch player. This girl is so impressive. Gosh, her foot speed is hard to follow, and she's got Ohio State's defense a little bit on the edge of their seat.
Yeah, and this time she decides to go to the outside and get past her defender, beating Miran Gasic there, but the shot was from a little bit from a tighter angle, not quite as tight as what she had for the goal. But again, Pritchard, good positioning, expecting that move and that shot come right at her.
Great through ball. Pritchard aggressively comes out to grab it. And Ohio State stops a would-be shot from DeBow there.
Then good goalkeeping. And Pritchard, like she did in the first half, coming off her line quickly, making that decision, and coming out to claim that before DeBow could run onto it.
Lauren DeBow, the former Central Michigan Chippewa. They get a foul that apparently is not in the box. Jeff Hostler's not particularly happy. He actually thought the foul should have gone their way.
Actually, I think Lauren Snyder said play on.
Buckeyes up the right side. Sears quickly into space. It wasn't particularly cleared with speed, but hit where no Buckeye was.
But again, good counterattack from Ohio State, and that's what I was mentioning before. Get that ball out quickly and get it forward quickly and create the opportunity that way, especially using Emma Sears on that right flank.
It was originally going to look to Kayla Fisher. She just outdid it. Took another touch to let Michigan State defenders trail. But Emma Sears gets that ball early on. That could have been a goal possibly for the Buckeyes.
Ohio State checking things out. Want to play up the right side there. Good idea from Emma Sears, but no Buckeye on the end of it.
And she saw Maddie Lowe making the run right up Route 1, but passed just a little bit out of her reach. But again, a good idea from Sears, making that early ball in instead of making that run, trying to change things up, going up against Samantha White over there on her right side, White's left side.
So a goal kick for Lauren Kozel.
Potential 2 goals are right in front of her, so she's had to be attentive today. She's had to be alert.
And pretty impressive that save she had at the end of the first half on the header from Kayla Fisher. She had very little to do in that first half with one or two exceptions of the one shot over the top early and then the one off the crossbar. For a goalkeeper to be, especially on a cold night like this, to not have much to do and all of a sudden have to come up with a big save right at the end of the half, pretty impressive.
Referee said play on. DeBow measures. Barnett was there.
Talani Barnett, that work rate of hers, again, coming back to close down that opportunity and knowing DeBow was probably going to come in field as she did there. I think Barnett could play 180 minutes in a day if she had to. That work rate of hers is fantastic.
Would love to see by the end of the game just how far she's run. Michigan State really proud of the way they train. You know it's going to help them in games like this time of year. Big chance for the Buckeyes. Dudukovic was running onto it. Referee said no foul.
Yeah, and Emma Sears causing problems.
Actually, I beg your pardon, Keith. That was Maddie Lowe, my mistake.
But either way, Emma Sears, again, causing problems for that left side of the Spartans' defense, making those runs down the wing and getting those crosses in.
Asked Coach Hostler earlier today, where can you be better? He said, we've got to get more play out of our 10. We need her to be a little more dynamic. Too much stress on the 9, and our 8 needs to make quicker decisions. He said, we've got a 5-player rotation in the midfield. And as you get late in the season, he said, Justina and Emmy Sargent need to continue to make quicker decisions, but that's not to downplay them. He said, Emmy can turn. Justina can really drive. Emerson's so impressive. She was an incredible sprinter. In fact, she was all-region in high school as both a basketball player and as a sprinter. She didn't even play high school soccer. She just played club, but was a terrific basketball player and sprinter, and we've certainly seen her speed make an impact so far.
You know, when you talk about the number 10 making those quick decisions, basketball lends itself to that, having to make those quick decisions, quick passing, because you've got so little space compared to a football pitch out here.
Goal kick. Michigan State with a 1-0 lead, scoring in the 44th minute. Got a little more than a half an hour remaining as Michigan State tries to close in on a regular season championship. They opened the day with 22 points in Big Ten play, 3 more than Northwestern, whom they just beat this past week.
Michigan State's defense has responded well with Ohio State obviously trying to get more people forward and create some more opportunities, getting Emma Sears down that right side a few times already in this half. But the defending and the shape of this Michigan State team has been just about inch perfect so far.
Talani, a good play forward. Reagan Cox, well done. Evans, good effort, wins it. Sargent, shifty feet there. Emmy to her left, cuts forward. Good play for DeBow, who's trying to get by Barnett, who makes a beautiful slide.
And the senior out of Bayshore, New York, I mentioned her football intelligence. She read that play very well, and I think she knew just about the same time DeBow knew what she was going to do and made an excellent tackle. Here it is again, the ball, throw ball forward. Barnett timing her tackle just perfectly to deny the opportunity.
It's great work again from Barnett. And even DeBow had Cameron Evans sitting at the back side there. If she plays that ball through,
Michigan State relentless with its pressure.
but it's great work by Barnett to keep Michigan State off. Get another one here.
Thinking maybe they've got a window. This one not hit with as much pace.
Just across there.
It's crossed out of play.
And we'll go out for a goal kick. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I think he was trying to maybe try to curl that one to the back post, but didn't get any bend on it. Again, Michigan State, we see winning a lot of more 50-50 balls here in the middle third of the field, and that's what's preventing Ohio State from trying to get forward more here in these last 5 minutes or so.
it's been about a dead even ball game. And you're saying just the shot that does go.
Ohio State throw in.
Can't do anything about on the shots she's faced. So
Lauren DeBow, 9 goals.
stopped all of them. Has a lot of shots.
She's been really, really good.
Has 6 of those saved.
21 points.
Ohio State ball now.
Leads the team in shots, shots on goal.
All this dribble, but just got to play for Michigan State throw in
One
here.
of the top scorers in Big Ten play. Entered the day second in league action.
And now she's second all by herself, breaking the tie she had with Kayla Fisher, Emma Sears, as well as Sarah Weber at Nebraska.
Buckeyes throw in now.
Dependent upon results for the rest of the night.
As it goes straight off the chest of Kalen Dukovic for Michigan State throw in.
A lot of play here on the near side of Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. That cross got deflected.
Defended by Gasick and Barnett.
Worked by Mirren,
Out for a throw in.
and it's going to be a throw-in in the corner.
For
Get the sense here in the last few minutes, Sparty want that second goal, definitely pushing for it. They probably feel like a 2 goals lead at this point should be just about assure them of the 3 points.
ball be thrown low. It would just barely stay in
This ball's played long over the way.
for Evans. Evans can't get
Cox looking for Cameron Evans, and Ohio State clears it away as the Buckeyes try to counter.
attack opportunity.
Emma Sears waiting for some help.
Trying to join the attack. And Sears trying to get shot off the block.
Sears had her shot blocked with Dukovic racing with her stride for stride on the left-hand side.
Recovery to get in front of Sears.
But again, Michigan State doing a terrific job defensively. 4 players back there to defend that counterattack. 2v4, the odds aren't usually very good.
Defending from Ruby Diodati literally went to ground at the exact
I'll tell you what, Michigan State's counterattack defense has been perhaps the most pleasant surprise in watching them play tonight. This team's ranked number 6 in the country, folks. It's the highest ranking in program history, and I'm telling you, they're the real deal.
defense there. But
Yeah, Ohio
Spartans really feel like they got a chance to make a deep run this year, and it just could start with a Big Ten championship.
Yeah, Ohio State's beaten one number 6 team in Penn State so far this season, but this Michigan State team looks like a very different proposition so far.
That was a pretty good game with Penn State. Ohio State scored once, and it was basically a one-goal game until all of a sudden they scored 2 goals within just a couple minutes of each other pretty late in the game to balloon to that 3-0 margin. These are perhaps a little bit misleading, but certainly a fun win for Ohio State against a program that has often been at the top of the table in this league.
Penn State, the only Big Ten women's team to win a national championship.
DeBow was just waiting for somebody to help her out.
Yeah, she had Sargent making the run to her right side, but turned the other way as Sargent went past her and never saw her.
Referee again says play on. DeBow against Gasick. Crosses off in time. Little too far. Looking for Justina Gaynor.
Great idea on the cross, but a little bit overcooked.
Gaynor's left-footed low line drive knocked away. Emma with a great cut to her right. She's got Fisher out in front of her. Too heavy a touch.
But it's the right idea from Ohio State. Try to hit that counterattack because they've, again, Michigan State, you look forward. They got 6 players in Ohio State's half of the field. They could be vulnerable with the right run and the right pass.
Michigan State has this one defended. Sears had laid back for a moment. Now she's got the ball on her foot.
And again, that Michigan State back four doing a great job of holding their shape.
Emma tackled, but no foul. Tell you what, Justina Gaynor, pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's doing a little bit of everything, defending well, getting forward to help out in the attack as well. It's what you like to see from the central midfielders, as Michigan State will send Wicks and Scrotenbohr back into the match.
Let's see. Jordan Wickus is on for Cameron Evans, and Scrotenbohr replaces the defender Samantha White.
Now, even though Scrotenbohr played in the first half, I have to wonder if Emma Sears is thinking, hey, get the ball out to me. I got a new defender to run against. Maybe I can beat her to the end line.
Michigan State is trying to keep as fresh a legs as they can on the defensive end because they've been running wind sprints. That's a good, hard physical play there.
Yeah, they've had to do a little bit more running in this second half with the way Ohio State's trying to push for an equalizer, so probably a smart idea on the substitutions. On the other hand, Lori Walker-Hawk, I have to think she's going to try to make some substitutions in here, get some fresh legs in here. Indeed, it looks like at the next opportunity, Keena Flocher will come back on.
Ruby Diodati takes this into the corner. Michigan State trying to double its lead.
Might be able to hear some of the Michigan State supporters with the "Go Green, Go White" chant right now.
High hanging ball, Pritchard out of the air, snatches it.
Well claimed by Pritchard out of Atlanta. The freshman definitely has a bright future here with the Buckeyes.
Buckeyes hoping to make a run. Fisher fouled.
It looked as if she tripped the ball, but I believe the referee was seeing that a player had stuck a foot in to stop a run there. The Ohio State free kick.
I'd asked Lori Walker-Hawk about the offensive explosion this past weekend, and she said, you just never really anticipate anything like that in conference play. But it sure was nice to get that going. There's a long-range shot that actually was a bit more threatening toward the end. Over the top of the bar from Kitty Jones-Black, and it remains 1-0.
Yeah, she saw an opening from about 35 yards out, and the ball did have some dip right at the end as we take another look at it. But it didn't quite drop enough, but it enough to give Kozlo a little bit of moment of, whoa, I better get up and take care of this.
When speaking about Emma Sears and Kayla Fisher, Lori Walker-Hawk said that right now they're not just clean, but they're they're athletic. She said their technicality is meeting their athleticism right now. It's never been a question about are they athletic enough, are they fast enough, can they move well enough, or could they play physical enough in this league. It's about trying to match the technical footwork along with that speed. And she said right now, for both of them, it finally feels like it's just really clicking at a high level. Those two young ladies are having a great year. And so far, both have been negated today.
And she told me before the game you can never take goals for granted either. And so that, as you mentioned with that, the offense of the last two games.
Fisher looking toward the corner. Will she cut left or right? Kayla to her left. Great cross. It was into a crowded area. Ohio State never got a shot off, although Emma Sears was lurking. This ball struck from the top of the box and deflected harmlessly.
And a little bit of a role reversal there as Fisher went out wide with Emma Sears making the run into the box. They had the right idea, but Sears just couldn't get a touch on it.
Michigan State loves playing through Lauren DeBow. Looking for a little help here. DeBow was trying to run with Jordan Wicks. Talani Barnett did well.
And again, another excellent defensive play by Talani Barnett, not just to win the ball, but to get out wide and get this counterattack going the other way for Ohio State.
Sweet little move there from Ella Gianola, gets the crowd on its feet. Fisher keeps it playable. Buckeyes trying to equalize. Kayla Fisher to the right.
She was looking for Keena Flotra right at the 18, but the pass just a little too strong for the Norwegian to get to it.
All right, 65 minutes in. Ohio State trailing Michigan State 1-0. Michigan State has outshot the Buckeyes 16-9, 8 of which have been on target. Ohio State only 3 shots on goal. Buckeyes have committed 8 fouls. They've been very physical against a Michigan State team that has tried to match that. I like the pace with which Sparty is playing.
Yeah, they've been able to match Ohio State in terms of the pace and the speed and, most importantly, winning 50-50 balls.
I also think Michigan State's done a pretty good job of taking some shots. They haven't played a reserved style. They've come to Columbus with bad intentions. They want to win this game, and they want to win impressively.
And especially here in the second half, we see it's clear they've been, especially after the first 5 or so minutes, they want that second goal. As looks like we have an injured player.
Sydney Jones, slow to get up. Referee stopped the clock for the moment. 24:49 remaining. Sydney gets back to her feet after the hard tackle.
Sophomore of the Cincinnati Development Academy.
Ohio State will take seriously every free kick chance it has. Jones lays this one forward. Over the top of Barnett, one of the taller players on the team, and always a threat on the end of those long crosses.
Excellent idea, looking for Barnett, making that run forward to the penalty spot, but the cross was just a little bit too strong for her to reach.
Admittedly, I didn't see the referee issue the card, but we were told that Courtney Kaler was given a caution. So the first yellow of the evening given to Michigan State, as Kayla Fisher was the last to touch that before it crossed the end line. Kaler booked in the 66th minute.
Reagan Cox defended well there, did enough to put Kayla Fisher off, and last touch let her down and resulted in the goal kick for Michigan State.
21st yellow card of the year awarded to Sparty. Kozel, some serious pressure into the corner.
Kaylin Dodokovic forced the turnover and ends up getting the throw in for Ohio State.
Flotra walks away from it, and it will be Jones to throw in. Keno holds. Jones crosses toward the middle. Sydney gets it back. Her left-footed shot way up into the air.
block a Sidney Jones shot. from just
Sidney
about 10
Jones,
yards
the
out.
right back, coming well in field to get a second bite of the cherry and had a great scoring opportunity. It was blocked.
Sidney Jones throw.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there.
For Nemesis Sears back.
Well, Ohio State is ratcheting up the pressure a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely sending more white shirts forward. They need to do that here, looking pressing for that equalizer, but they have to watch out for the counterattack as MJ Andrus will be coming in out of Mount Bridges, Ontario, about 20 miles west of London.
Yeah, just a chance for DeBow to catch her breath. I would expect Lauren will come back in a minute or two. Hard time believing that they'd keep their best player off the park for the rest of the night. Flag goes up there, foul on Ohio State.
Yeah, good. The last 5 minutes or so, Ohio State showing some more pressure, getting more people forward, showing more initiative. But again, this Michigan State defense, rock solid, holding their shape, holding their lines, and not letting anything get through to Lauren Kozel.
MSU trying to keep it alive in the corner. Cross just on the sideline part of the flag for a Buckeye throw. Brendan Gulick, Keith Kokindo with you as we approach the final 21 minutes of regulation. Ohio State hasn't lost in quite a while. 5 wins, 2 draws over their last 7. Michigan State's streak is even more impressive, 10 consecutive unbeaten. This has been a great quality game late in the Big Ten slate as Pritchard fields it on one hop. Certainly get the impression these are 2 NCAA tournament caliber teams fighting for Big Ten supremacy late in the year.
Excellent work there by Talani Barnett, cutting off Jordan Wicks and keeping her shielded away from Molly Pritchard to allow her to come off her line and claim that ball.
Barnett feeling a little bit of heat from Wickus.
She's just so cool on the ball is Talani Barnett. Nothing seems to rattle her. And again, Sparty doing a very good job in the middle third, kind of like the neutral zone in hockey, turning balls over and trying to get going forward once again and not allowing Ohio State to come forward, but they'll have a chance here as Kayla Fisher wins a free kick for Ohio State.
Tough tackle. I certainly hope everybody's okay.
Abby Gardner back on her feet after that challenge.
It's just 2 years ago that Michigan State was 1-10-1. I think that this team is now 12-1-3 just 2 years later. It's frankly pretty remarkable. That was in the spring season. Free kick went into the middle of the box. Barnett's shot was blocked.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Barnett coming forward either. Again, as I mentioned earlier, she spent a lot of time as a midfielder last year, so she certainly knows how to go forward. And again, Ohio State, it's getting close to all hands to the pump time now, trying to press for that equalizer, but that's a big ask against this Michigan State defense right now.
Coach Hostler was brought to East Lansing in June of 2021. So he was there for last season and this season in the fall. In 2019, when he led his Grand Valley State Lakers team to a Division II national championship and a remarkable 25-1 record. Michigan State was 8-10-1 overall, but just won 9-1 in conference play, and they lost the last 7 games in a row to end the season. It's just remarkable to me how such a change can happen so quickly, especially considering how young this team is. Now, it's not as though all of the freshmen are getting a bunch of playing time, but you add in the right mix of players that transfer in with a handful of talented young freshmen, challenge for playing time. There's a good hard tackle. Referee says it's a foul, but not enough for a booking.
Ivana Labovich, the junior from Cherville, Indiana. But you talked about it before, Brendan, in the first half, about how Lori Walker-Hawk spoke on behalf of Jeff Hawk going to get this job at Michigan State. It says a lot for Lori Walker-Hawk to be able to say, hey, even though I'm going to have to play this guy every year, he still should get this job.
Sure, you want quality people in your conference. You want the league to be as strong as it can be. And good competition breeds good quality play. Every coach in the league should want every other team in the league to be really good. But you're right, it is a selfless way to go about it. A couple more changes here.
As the tennis expression goes, match tough.
That's right. Here in Columbus, across the way, you hear Ryan Day talk about competitive excellence an awful lot. I'm not sure how often that term is used in either team, but you can bet the mentality is a part of both of these two programs. There's a good little tap forward from Wickes. Couldn't quite get the help she needed. Andres was cut off.
But Wickes did the job right in the center of the park, winning that ball and immediately trying to get Andres going forward.
Michigan State with substitutions as Abby Gardner comes in for Kelly Severini. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Severini is on for Gardner, and Samantha White has returned for Labovich. So Ohio State tries to get forward again. Sears this time on the left side of the field. Beats White, takes a shot, and it's just over the top of the bar. A very near miss for the Buckeyes.
What? Great job by Sears again, running at Samantha White, who's back in the game, and just missing, coming infield, playing, as you said, on the left side this time instead of normally on the right, as she's been doing most of the night. But again, she's coming in. It's like the off wing in hockey. She's got the right foot coming in field, and that gives her a little better angle and the opportunity to try to curl it into that corner, and she nearly pulled it off.
That might have been Ohio State's best look of the whole night. They've had a couple. That was enough to make your heart stop if you're a Spartan fan watching.
I'd say the only one better was Fisher's header off the cross by Sears
Sure.
at the end of the first half.
Oh, gosh, that was such a good save from Lauren Kozel.
It was a great cross from Sears and a great chance from Fisher as well. Just didn't have the right direction on it, but as you said, Kozel with an excellent save. And that's a tough save for a goalkeeper to make from that close, the ball at the feet. To get down that quickly and be able to cover it up, that is very difficult for a goalkeeper. Probably one of the most difficult saves a goalkeeper has to make, believe it or not.
Fans on both sides starting to really feel it. Andrus with a good cross. Ohio State stymies it, but can't clear it.
But again, we're seeing Michigan State bottle up Ohio State in the middle third of the field, and it's a lot shorter trip to build an attack from right there.
That was pumped, but wide left. Wickes hit it good.
I think the native Clevelander might like the opportunity to score a goal just about 125 miles south of her hometown in Brunswick.
Former Brunswick Blue Devil. Always fun when you have young ladies or young men that are from an area, maybe choose to leave the state in which they grew up, and then they go play the big school in that state as a member of another team, much like Wickes is doing here. In the meantime, Sears drawing more attention again, but unfortunately, the card is coming out. Buckeyes are called for a yellow. Let's see who it's on. I don't believe it was on Emma.
Well, it looked like Lauren Snyder was looking at Kayla Fisher, who was right there.
I'm not sure if we have a better look at that or not as the ball streaked the other way. It is officially a booking for Kayla Fisher. Final quarter hour upon us. Ohio State still trailing 1-0. I wish it was a goal.
So does Lori Walker-Hawk.
It's an Ohio State yellow card. Michigan State threatening. The wall almost broke down there. Flag stays down. Chance on the right side, deflected back in front. Pritchard doesn't get a chance to grab it. The rest of the defense was there.
She certainly wanted to. She came off her line of her like she wanted to get to it, but it was cleared away from her with at the end by
Get the ball off. There's that last touch, and Michigan
her defense.
all the way out, and let it be a throw-in for the Buckeyes here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of going on, a lot of commotion going on near the box, and Ohio State's defense is looking
Somewhat desperate defending there from the Buckeyes, not able to clear their lines, but they finally do. But again, Michigan State, look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players up there near the ball trying to put pressure on Ohio State and turn it over in the Buckeyes half of the field. And you called it, Lauren DeBow back into the match for Michigan State.
Speaking of attackers, Michigan State bringing Lauren DeBow back on the lone goal scorer in this game.
There's still an uncomfortable amount of time left if you're a Michigan State fan,
Entire game to this point.
but you'd certainly feel good about your chances with a lead here. This could help. Andrus chips to the side and finds nobody as she crossed it in DeBow's direction.
She could not get over the front of that one.
A little bit too strong across there, but she definitely had DeBow picked out over there on that far side.
Ohio State looking for a counter.
Nola for the Buckeyes.
Look at how fast Michigan State is trying to retreat. This is Fisher.
Now working against Reagan Cox on the left.
Kayla
Fisher
wants to go right, instead chips it left, and her left-footed shot was blocked. Good defense, Reagan Cox.
easily able to block that one and clear it out for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot tonight. Ohio State trying to counterattack. 4, 5, 6 green shirts getting back, including that entire back line for the Spartans. They've that back line. We see why Lauren Kosel's the goalkeeper. We see why the Michigan State defense is so good. It's that back four that really holds it all together for the Spartans.
Now trying to get by defenders, lose possession. Reagan Cox.
Lauren DeBow scored in the 44th minute. Frankly, for as physical and fast and tough as this game has been, it's kind of a soft goal. A self-inflicted wound for Ohio State that allowed the only goal of the game.
She had just had a
Trying to make up for it here as we enter the final 12 minutes.
foul against her.
Barnett on the free kick.
We've seen a lot of terrific play from both sides, but the goal was just not a very pretty one. But it's not how, it's how many.
Ball now is
Flotra.
outside of Michigan State box. Flotra
Flotra had a wonderful goal against Maryland last Thursday.
Sydney Jones taps back toward Keena.
Flotra trying a long shot.
Her left-footed shot
Ball just about
deflected and almost out of control there.
Throw in here, low in Michigan State territory.
Jones looking for help.
Play to Sears. Sears trying to get a pass. It's defended by Michigan State. Ohio State has the ball back now.
Buckeyes taking a big deep breath.
Black in midfield. We leave it for Gasek. Gasek's able to get it for
Gasek looking
Gianola
with Gianola, and now Fisher.
Fisher trying to get across in. Fisher's cross.
Kayla's cross is off. She had Sears on the back post. Extremely well marked.
Great chance.
Flag went up for offside. It wouldn't have counted anyways. But how about Michigan State defense?
Now, once again, they know here's the ball in for Fisher. Sears has got a player right in front of her. That was a Ruby Diodati covering that up and also forcing the offside decision as well.
Ruby Diodati has played lights out. She was on the College Soccer News National Team of the Week a week and a half ago. One of the best defenders in the Big Ten for sure, and she has absolutely played a terrific game tonight.
Yeah, she is definitely the key to this Spartans defense, not just tonight, but for the whole season.
Buckeyes throw in. Gasek to take. Throw in for the Buckeyes. Get it to McNamara. McNamara working away from Samantha White. We'll have to play it all the way back to Barnett. Barnett playing it over to Kay Jones Black on the left.
Kitty Jones-Black trying to be patient. Ohio State has plenty of time here. No reason to get flustered. You still can pick your moments, like this one from Fisher, who rips a low shot.
On Andrus.
Another one that got blocked.
Down. But the foul will be given against Fisher there.
Would like to see her take another touch there and keep coming in toward the center of the park, as there was a lot of traffic in front of her, and that's why the shot was blocked. But maybe take one more touch and see if you can create some more space for yourself.
It looked like they created a lot more urgency. It seems like the ball is in the Michigan State half far more often than it was at the start of this half. So Ohio State looking.
They've been playing soccer in this conference on the ladies' side since 1994. In the first 4 years, the Big Ten champion was determined only in the conference tournament. There was not a regular season champ until the 1998 year. Michigan State has never won the Big Ten championship. And in that time frame, Penn State has won 20 times. Minnesota 4, Ohio State 3. I beg your pardon, Wisconsin 3, Ohio State 2, as this one has rolled toward Pritchard. Indiana, Nebraska, Northwestern, and last year Rutgers have all won one Big Ten regular season championship.
I have a feeling as long as Jeff Hostler stays, this won't be their only one.
Well, this is a dream job for him.
Now, you talked about that in the first half, being a native Michigander and being able to live and work right near where he grew up. And so far, it's paying big dividends not only for him, but for this Michigan State women's program.
DeBow pushed off the ball by Brooke Otto. Not enough for a booking, but certainly a foul.
She'll get a talking to from Laura Snyder, though.
Yeah, Michigan State will have a free kick right in the middle of the field. Hopefully DeBow's okay, a bit slow to get up.
Here is, again, a very, very clumsy challenge from Brooke Otto. She's lucky to get by with only a talking to from Laura Snyder.
So Flotra trying to help line up the wall. And on the other side, Scrotenbohr and Diodati discussing the strategy on how they're going to attack Pritchard. A second goal at this point in the night would be back-breaking for Ohio State.
A whole bunch of players standing over the ball right now. I believe it was taken by Maria Scrotenbohr, if I'm correct.
Scrotenbohr wants it.
The senior from Holland, Michigan rolls one short. It pops out to the right-hand side, ripped off a defender.
Excellent defense by Ohio State on the restart.
Wow, how about that? Both players looked like they were on ice skates. They went straight down. Fisher popped back to her feet, weaving through defenders. Kayla tackled from behind, no foul call.
Yes,
there
was.
was. Finally, it came late.
It took Laura Snyder a second to get the whistle into her mouth to make the call, but she clearly was looking right at it and was going to make that decision. But a great run by Kayla Fisher. She said slipping and falling down, able to get back up and continue that run. And she wanted Emma Sears on her left side. We'll get another look at this here. We'll watch in this tangle she has with Scrotenbohr, able to get back up and find the ball again. And then eventually wins the free kick.
Flotra with her right foot chips it forward, and Michigan State's defense does its job. It was Scrotenbohr that got her head on it. DeBow possesses along the far side.
It's MJ Andrus making the run right up the middle.
That's another bad tackle.
Very bad challenge. And again, DeBow, I think, is lucky to know. Nope, Lauren Snyder goes to the pocket, and Lauren DeBow's name will go into Laura Snyder's book.
Clock stops 5:41. I don't think it was of malicious intent, but you can't not
No,
pull out the card.
Yeah, intent is not. She's just trying. It's a professional foul, as they say in the top leagues. They're just trying to slow the attack down, knowing that she's going to run free if she doesn't commit the foul.
To the top of the 18. Everybody jockeying for it. Ohio State possesses. Michigan State somewhat dangerously holding the ball in their own offensive end like that. Flotra trying to win it back. Instead, here comes Sparty. Tapped up the far side. Good run coming, Wickes. No reason for Michigan State to try to force the issue here. But if they get an opening, they'll take it. Wickes rips a shot off of Otto. Jordan wins it back.
If this scoreline holds, it'll be the 16th clean sheet for Lauren Kozel over the last 2 seasons.
She is a stud, and let me tell you, she's earned it again today. She's made a couple of really good stops as both teams make a couple of changes. Dudukovic and Lowe back for the Buckeyes. Cameron Evans returns, so does Emmy Sargent for Michigan State.
And again, on a cold night like this, where she's not getting a lot of action, it's difficult when a goalkeeper is suddenly called upon. Ohio State's she's made saves on a couple of Ohio State's good chances. She's been testing on a few others, one off the crossbar, a couple just over the top as well. But she hasn't been as busy as Molly Pritchard has been at the other end, but she's come up big when she's had to. And again, that's not easy when a goalkeeper doesn't face a whole lot of action. Again, that's a credit, again, to that back four that Michigan State has.
Michigan State makes a run to the corner. Gosh, it almost felt like Kelly Severini was running through quicksand there. Wasn't moving particularly fast, and a goal kick. Well, there's fewer than 4 minutes to go, and now it's starting to become a bit more real for Michigan State as they make one more change. Allie Marin has come on. Again, still time for the Buckeyes, although it's not on their side. Michigan State never talks about championships. Jeff Hostler said it's almost redundant. It almost gets old, but we are so process-driven, focusing on truly just today. Nothing other than what is in front of us today. They don't discuss what their long-term goals and championships might look like. And perhaps that's partially because he's trying to build an entirely new culture that just hasn't existed at Michigan State.
And that's a great point you make there, because he did that certainly very successfully at Grand Valley State. And that kind of approach and process is important here, because those Michigan State players, I'm sure a few of them are taking a look back at the clock and seeing the time go on, realize what's about to happen, but they know they still have work to do.
You'd love to sit there and say that the goal for Michigan State is not just to win a conference championship, that they want more. The reality is winning a conference championship has not been part of their vernacular. It's not that they weren't capable. Obviously, this has been a magical season for them. But this team hasn't known success at this level quite yet. 10 freshmen, 7 transfers, only 15 returning players on the roster from last year. And a team that won just one game in conference 2 years ago is 2 minutes and 40 seconds away from moving to 8-0-1 through its first 9 games and winning at least a share of a Big Ten title, knowing that they would be a number 1 seed should there be a tiebreaker with Northwestern, because they're coming off of the biggest win in program history last weekend. They had never beaten an opponent ranked as highly as the Wildcats, who were 5th just a few days ago.
And you have to think Jeff Hostler's also told his players, hey, winning a conference championship is a step toward where we want to go. And I'm sure they have. And you talk about all the new players coming in they've had over the last couple of years. These are players that are coming in fresh with Jeff Hostler as their coach. They're not holdovers from the old program. I'm not saying that they've got baggage necessarily, but when you're a new player coming in and you get a new coach coming in trying to build something, it makes a little difference and it helps, and that therefore helps the rest of the team. When the newcomers are buying in, the rest of the team is bound to follow.
Long ball played forward. The Buckeyes in the final 2 minutes going to give this everything they've got. No overtime in college soccer, so Ohio State has no reason not to force the issue as much as possible.
Well, they've tried as much as they could here in the second half, but Michigan State has just been too successful in breaking up attacks and slowing down the attacks in the middle third of the field before Ohio State can even get started and build something from there. We talked about their back line a few times tonight, but also the midfielders have done a job as well. People such as Evans, the Gaynor sisters, and Emerson Sargent, who you talked about.
Michigan State will throw it in as we approach the final minute.
And the Spartans supporters beginning to make their voices heard even more now as they realize that their team is just about home and dry.
Spartans holding it onto it in the corner. Michigan State has not just a lot of fans here. They've got an awful lot of their athletic department administration on hand. They are preparing for a celebration.
And they're 30 seconds away from starting it.
Alan Haller, the athletic director up in East Lansing. He is on hand here tonight. Throw in for the Buckeyes with 15 seconds to go. Michigan State, in 1994, they won a regular season title, but it wasn't recognized as such. There's no more asterisk anymore. For the first time in program history, the Michigan State Spartans are Big Ten champions.